We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Seneca. What if I told you that the very rejection you're afraid of, the job you didn't get, the person who walked away, the door slammed in your face, could be the exact thing that propels you to a level of greatness you never thought possible? You see, most people treat rejection like a dead end. They take it personally, let it define them, and slowly shrink their ambitions to avoid feeling that sting again. But a Stoic looks at rejection and thinks, good, here's my chance to sharpen my mind, strengthen my spirit, and come back 10 times stronger. This isn't about pretending it doesn't hurt. It's about mastering the art of turning every no into a hidden yes for your growth. The moment you stop seeing rejection as a threat and start seeing it as fuel, your life changes. In this video, we'll break down exactly how Stoics transform setbacks into stepping stones. And if you stay with me until the very end, you'll walk away with a mindset so unshakable, rejection will become your greatest ally. Because once you master this, nothing and no one can stop you. Number 1, embrace rejection as a natural part of growth, not a personal failure. Rejection isn't the enemy. Not really. The truth is, rejection is just life nudging you to grow, to pivot, to see things from a different angle. Most people freeze, panic, or worse, they take it personally. But you have the power to flip the script. You can see rejection not as a verdict on your worth, but as a stepping stone toward something greater. As reminds us, if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this, you have the power to revoke at any moment. Your interpretation matters more than the rejection itself. Here's the thing, growth isn't linear. You won't wake up one day with everything going smoothly. You're going to hit walls, hear the word no, feel doors close in your face. That's not a flaw in you. That's not a signal to give up. That's life testing you, and Stoics would say, good. Here's an opportunity to practice virtue, resilience, and perspective. Each rejection is a tiny gem for your mind and character. The more reps you do, the stronger you get. So how do you embrace this? First, start by separating the event from your identity. Someone says no, big deal. That no doesn't make you less than, wrong, or unworthy. It simply means the universe or a person is aligning circumstances differently. Repeat this mantra to yourself. This is not a reflection of my value, it is a circumstance to learn from. Say it aloud. Feel it in your bones. The more you practice, the faster your mind starts rewiring. Next, journal. Yes, grab a notebook. Write down each rejection, then break it apart. Ask yourself, what can I learn here? How can this push me to refine my approach or deepen my craft? Don't just vent, analyze. Look for the lesson, the hidden opportunity. Seneca said, difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body. Treat each rejection as resistance training for your soul. And here's a subtle but powerful exercise. Every time rejection hits, take 3 deep breaths. Slow, deliberate, grounding breaths. Let your body relax while your mind notices the urge to spiral. Then intentionally ask yourself, what's within my control here? Most of the time, it's your effort, your perspective, and your response. Stoics didn't waste energy on what they couldn't control. Neither should you. Finally, make it a habit to seek out small rejections deliberately. Not recklessly, but intentionally. Submit a proposal. Pitch an idea. Raise your hand when it's scary. When you treat rejection as routine, as a teacher rather than a threat, its sting fades. The more comfortable you become with being told no, the bolder you'll get, the faster you'll move, and the sharper your instincts will become. Remember, you're not just enduring rejection, you're cultivating mastery over yourself. You're learning patience, fortitude, and clarity. And every time you choose to see a no as fuel rather than failure, you're building momentum. Momentum that will carry you past fear, past doubt, past hesitation. So the next time it lands in your lap, don't flinch. Breathe. Reflect. Rise, turn rejection into the raw material of your greatness. Number 2, reframe rejection to focus on what you can control, your response and attitude. Rejection is inevitable. It's not a question of if it will come knocking at your door, it's a certainty. But here's the thing, the power of rejection doesn't lie in the event itself, it lies in how you respond. You can't control every circumstance, every opinion, every closed door. What you can control is your response, your attitude, and the meaning you give to the moment. This is where Stoicism shines. Epictetus reminds us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Let that sink in. Your response is your domain. Your mind, your attitude, your choice, everything else, outside your control. When you face rejection, the first step is to pause. Don't let your emotions dictate your next move. Take a breath. Recognize that the sting of rejection is temporary. It's a signal, not a verdict. Shift your focus immediately from the external, what went wrong, to the internal. What can I do now with what I can influence? This subtle shift is a Stoic superpower. It transforms rejection from a trap into a tool. Start by examining your thoughts. Are you thinking, this is unfair, I failed? Flip it. Ask yourself, how can I use this? How can I learn? How can I grow? Instead of spiraling into frustration, channel that energy into action. Remember words. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Every rejection is a signpost pointing you toward opportunity, but only if you choose to see it that way. Next, train your attitude like a muscle. Each time you encounter rejection, respond with intention. This isn't about pretending everything is fine. It's about mastery over your own mind. Say to yourself, I cannot control others' decisions, but I can control my effort, my discipline, and my mindset. That simple internal mantra shifts you from victim to architect of your life. You begin to see rejection as feedback, not failure. Now let's make it practical. Every time you face rejection, write down 3 things you can control in response. Maybe it's your next attempt, your preparation, your practice, or the way you speak to yourself. Then act on at least one immediately. Action anchors attitude. It reminds your mind that you are not at the mercy of circumstance. You are the captain of your response. Finally, cultivate gratitude for the clarity rejection brings. Every no highlights what isn't aligned, guiding you toward what truly matters. Train yourself to see each rejection as a compass, pointing you to refine your goals, sharpen your skills, and strengthen your character. This is how a Stoic transforms an obstacle into fuel. This is how you turn rejection into greatness. You will face rejection, that is certain, but your response, that is yours to command. Own it, shape it, let it propel you. Every time you do, you practice Stoic mastery, an inch closer to the life you are capable of building. Number 3, use rejection as feedback to refine your goals and strategies. Rejection is not the end of the road, it's a mirror. It reflects not your worth, but the clarity of your approach. Every no you encounter is a Stoic teacher whispering, look closer, adjust, and rise. You see, rejection is not a personal verdict. It is feedback. It's information wrapped in discomfort, nudging you to refine your goals and sharpen your strategies. The Stoics remind us through Epictetus, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. And this is exactly where rejection becomes your secret ally. When a goal doesn't materialize or an opportunity slips through your fingers, don't allow your mind to spiral into blame or self-pity. Instead, pause, breathe. Look at the situation like a craftsman examining their work. What parts of your plan were effective? Where did your execution falter? What assumptions did you make that need testing? These questions aren't just idle curiosity. They are the foundation of turning setbacks into progress. Each rejection is a data point, a piece of intelligence to guide your next move. You are no longer aimlessly striking against the wall. You are adjusting the angle, honing your aim, and preparing to strike with precision. Now let's get practical. Here's an exercise. Whenever you face rejection, write it down. Don't just note the event, dissect it. What was within your control? What was? How can you improve your approach next time? By externalizing the experience onto paper, you detach emotion from evaluation. This is crucial. Stoics teach that the mind can be a battlefield. Your thoughts can be tyrants or allies. By objectively analyzing rejection, you turn a potential defeat into actionable insight. You see patterns. You identify blind spots. You gain perspective. And here's the beauty. Refining your strategies doesn't just make your next attempt better, it reshapes your mindset. You stop fearing no because it no longer feels like a verdict on your value. It becomes a compass pointing toward a more effective approach. Reminds us, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Rejection is the obstacle. Your response is the path. The wiser you become at interpreting these setbacks, the more unstoppable you are in pursuing your ambitions. So embrace rejection as feedback. Welcome it like an old mentor who refuses to sugarcoat the truth. Ask yourself tough questions, adjust your course, and persist. Turn the sting into insight, the frustration into fuel, and the disappointment into determination. With every no, you're not stepping back. You're stepping forward, armed with knowledge, clarity, and the quiet confidence that comes from refining yourself relentlessly. This is the Stoic approach. Transform resistance into resilience and rejection into a stepping stone toward greatness. Number 4, cultivate resilience by practicing emotional detachment from outcomes. You have to understand something crucial. The world doesn't owe you validation, applause, or even understanding. That sting you feel when things don't go your way, that rejection, that failure, that door slammed in your face, isn't a signal of your worth. It's an invitation to practice resilience. And the most potent form of resilience comes from learning to detach emotionally from outcomes. Now, before you grimace at the idea of detachment, hear this. It doesn't mean you stop caring or become cold. Stoicism teaches that there's freedom in realizing what's yours to control and what is. You control your effort, your intention, your mindset. You do not control how others react, whether your idea gets accepted, or whether life throws obstacles in your path. Once you internalize that, the weight of rejection becomes lighter. As Epictetus said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Your reaction is where your power lies. Start small. Practice seeing outcomes as separate from your value. If someone rejects your idea or your effort fails, don't stew, don't spiral. Instead, label it. This is external. This is outside my control. I did my part. This simple mental exercise begins to build a shield around your inner state so it's less at the mercy of external events. Over time, the sting dulls. You feel steady, even when the world wobbles around you. Here's a practical exercise. After each decision or action, take a moment to visualize every possible outcome, including the ones that hurt. Let yourself feel the disappointment, then consciously release it. Say to yourself, "This result is not mine to command. My responsibility was to act well." Do this consistently, and you'll notice something profound. The anxiety, fear, and self-doubt that used to paralyze you begin to shrink. You act more freely, more boldly, and even rejection stops feeling like a personal failure. Another layer of this practice is reflecting daily. Ask yourself, which worries today were truly within my control, which were not? Writing them down clarifies the boundary between effort and result. Stoics call this the discipline of ascent, choosing where to give your attention and where to withhold it. By training your mind in this way, you become like a tree in a storm, rooted, unshaken, and focused on growth rather than on whether the wind blows favorably. When you detach emotionally from outcomes, rejection transforms. It's no longer a wall, it's fuel. It's data, feedback, and opportunity to refine your strategy. Every no becomes a stepping stone toward mastery, and every disappointment becomes a chance to exercise your inner fortitude. You stop being a slave to circumstance and start being a deliberate architect of your inner life. The more you practice, the more resilient you become. You stop seeking comfort in approval and start finding strength in your own effort. You turn rejection into a teacher, frustration into momentum, and life, however unpredictable, into a field where your greatness is cultivated, not compromised. Number 5, transform the energy from rejection into motivation for relentless self-improvement. Rejection isn't the end, it's raw, unrefined energy waiting for you to harness it. When you face no, when doors slam or opportunities slip through your fingers, your first instinct might be to shrink, to internalize the sting. The Stoics, however, would nudge you differently. Reminds us, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. That is your cue. Rejection isn't a dead end. It's the fuel, the spark, the exact push you need to refine yourself into someone unstoppable. The energy from rejection has a unique quality. It's personal, immediate, and undeniable. You feel it pulsate through you. Disappointment, frustration, maybe even anger. But here's the Stoic twist. You don't have to waste it in self-pity. Instead, redirect it. Let it become your call to action. Each no is a mirror reflecting where growth is needed. Where did you falter? Where can you sharpen your skills, deepen your resilience, and strengthen your discipline? This is not about blame, it's about leverage. You transform the raw sting into deliberate motion, into concrete steps that inch you closer to mastery. Start small. Use each rejection as a daily exercise. Write down what you felt, then write down one action you can take to improve. Not tomorrow, not next week. Now, maybe it's a skill you need to hone. Maybe it's a mindset you need to adjust. The moment is alive, and so is your opportunity to turn it into momentum. Stoicism teaches you to focus on what is within your control, your response, your effort, your dedication, not on the whims of others. You can also use visualization. Picture the rejection as a stone striking your chest. Don't flinch. Instead, imagine that impact compressing into energy inside you. Every beat of frustration becomes a pulse of drive. Every twinge of doubt is converted into curiosity. Ask yourself, how can I respond so effectively that this rejection becomes irrelevant in the story of my growth? Let that question guide your actions relentlessly. Consistency is your ally here. You don't transform rejection into greatness with a single act of will. You do it minute by minute, habit by habit. Channel that energy into routines of self-improvement, physical, mental, and emotional. Practice your craft until excellence is no longer an aspiration but a default state. Strengthen your mind with reflection and meditation. Cultivate patience. Build a body of work so formidable that the sting of rejection slides off you like water. Remember, you are not defined by others' judgments. You are defined by how you respond. And each rejection you face is an invitation, a secret gift wrapped in challenge, to raise your standards, sharpen your focus, and move closer to greatness. So take that raw, chaotic energy and make it yours. Burn it into the habits, the skills, and the resilience that no can ever take away. Transform it and you transform yourself. Remember, rejection isn't the end, it's the spark that lights your path to greatness. Like said, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. So next time rejection knocks, don't step back, lean in. Use it, transform it, let it fuel your rise. If you take this lesson to heart and make it your mindset, nothing can stop you. If you found value in this, hit that like button, subscribe for more powerful Stoic wisdom, and share your own stories of turning rejection into strength in the comments below. Keep pushing, keep growing, greatness is waiting for you. He who engages you conquers you. Epictetus. What if I told you that most people are walking around with a magnet for attraction, but it's broken? They're constantly trying to impress, over-explaining themselves or chasing approval, and yet the ones they desire barely notice them. Now, imagine flipping that script. Imagine carrying a quiet power that draws people in, not because you're flashy or loud, but because your presence, your mindset, and your actions radiate confidence and control. That's exactly what Stoicism can do for you. In this video, I'm going to reveal 7 Stoic rules that make you instantly more attractive. Rules that aren't about vanity or gimmicks. They're about building inner strength, calmness under pressure, and authenticity. These are practical, actionable principles that you can start using today, and the results are far more magnetic than any superficial charm. But here's the catch. To truly master these rules and see the change, you need to watch this video till the very end. Every rule builds on the last, and skipping even one is like leaving half your power untapped. Stick with me, and by the time we're done, you'll understand exactly how to become the kind of person people can't help but notice and respect. Number 1, master your emotions. Remain calm under pressure. Imagine this. Someone cuts you off in a conversation. A situation spirals unexpectedly, or pressure mounts from every direction. Your first instinct might be to snap, to react, to let frustration or fear take the wheel. But here's the thing. Your ability to remain calm under pressure is one of the most magnetic traits you can cultivate. People are naturally drawn to those who can navigate chaos without losing their center. The Stoics understood this deeply. Seneca once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Mastering your emotions isn't about shutting them down. It's about observing them, understanding them, and then choosing your response rather than letting impulse control you. This is where true attractiveness begins, not in appearance or charm, but in the quiet strength of emotional mastery. Start with awareness. The moment you feel a surge of anger, anxiety, or irritation, don't act immediately. Pause, breathe, label the emotion. This is anger, this is fear, this is frustration. By numbing it, you create distance between yourself and the raw reaction that wants to dominate your behavior. You are no longer a puppet of circumstance. You are a conscious observer. This is a small but powerful shift, and with practice, it becomes second nature. Imagine every challenging moment as a test of your inner composure. Instead of reacting impulsively, you respond thoughtfully. You might say nothing, adjust your tone, or even smile quietly. Each choice strengthens your self-mastery. Consistency matters. Make it a daily exercise to notice your emotional triggers. Reflect on moments when you felt flustered or impatient. Ask yourself, could I have responded differently? What would it look like to maintain calm? Journaling can help here. Write down these experiences and how you might handle them next time. Over time, your brain rewires itself. The automatic emotional reactions weaken, and deliberate calm becomes your default. This isn't about suppressing emotion. It's about redirecting energy into a controlled, composed presence that others find irresistible. Here's another practical habit. Rehearse calm in small, everyday situations. When a minor inconvenience occurs, a delayed message, a long line, a misunderstanding, practice taking a deep breath before responding. Ask yourself, how can I act in a way that reflects strength, not reactivity? You are training your mind to handle bigger challenges with the same steadiness. Each time you succeed, no matter how small, you reinforce the attractive quality of emotional resilience. Remember, remaining calm under pressure doesn't just protect you, it signals to others that you are dependable, unshakable, and trustworthy. People are naturally drawn to energy that is grounded, not erratic. They feel safer, more comfortable, and more inspired around someone who can navigate stress without crumbling. Reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. You don't control what life throws at you, but you can control how you meet it. Start practicing now. Each moment of self-control, each pause before reaction, each choice to respond with clarity rather than emotion compounds. Over time, it becomes effortless. You become the person who others instinctively admire, who commands respect without demanding it, who radiates confidence because it stems from mastery of self. This is the core of Stoic attractiveness: calm under pressure, unwavering in composure, and magnetic because your presence reassures and inspires. Take the first step today. Notice your emotions, name them, and choose to rise above. The world will notice, and more importantly, you will feel the power of true inner strength. Number 2, focus on what's within your control. Think about how much of your mental energy is spent worrying about things you can't change. The traffic you get stuck in, the opinions others form about you, the way someone reacts in a conversation, these are all outside your control. Yet so often, you let them hijack your thoughts, your mood, your confidence. Stoicism teaches you to flip that script. Focus on what's within your control. Your thoughts, your actions, your choices, your responses. These are yours entirely, no one else can touch them. Epictetus reminds us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. That idea is simple but powerful. When you direct your attention to your own behavior, you reclaim your energy, you reclaim your presence, and you start to radiate a magnetism that is undeniable. People notice someone who is calm, composed, and centered, someone whose sense of self isn't tossed around by every gust of circumstance. Start small. Each morning, take a moment to remind yourself, today, I control my attitude, my effort, and my choices. Everything else is not mine to govern. This mental exercise primes your mind to let go of frustration before it even arises. When criticism comes, when situations don't go your way, ask yourself, can I change this? If yes, I will act. If no, I will release it. Practicing this distinction trains your mind to stay grounded. Over time, your reactions stop being automatic. They become intentional. You stop being a puppet to the chaos around you, and instead, you become a steady presence. People are drawn to that steadiness, that clarity, that sense of purpose. Focusing on what's in your control doesn't mean ignoring your environment or being passive. It means acting where you can make a difference and letting go of needless struggle where you cannot. Wrote, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. When you live by this principle, you stop wasting time and energy on what others think, on what could have gone differently, on things that are inherently uncertain. Instead, you invest in improving yourself, refining your character, sharpening your skills, and nurturing your confidence. That inner work translates into outward attractiveness, because nothing is more magnetic than someone who is composed, deliberate, and intentional. You can make this practical. Each evening, reflect on your day. Note the moments where you wasted energy on things beyond your control and consider how you could have directed that energy differently. Then, plan tomorrow. Decide in advance where your attention will go. Choose to invest it only in what you can influence. This is not a one-time exercise. It is a daily ritual that builds mastery over your mind. And the more you practice, the less external circumstances can shake you, the more presence you carry, the more compelling your energy becomes. Imagine the freedom you gain when your focus is no longer scattered. You stop chasing approval, worrying about outcomes, or reacting emotionally to every minor inconvenience. Instead, you move through life with confidence, awareness, and calm control. That energy is magnetic. It draws people in naturally, not because you demand attention, but because you embody it effortlessly. The world may throw challenges, distractions, and opinions at you, but by focusing on what's within your control, you stand firm, you move intentionally, and you shine authentically. Every day you practice this, you step closer to becoming the person who is not only attractive but unshakably grounded, someone who inspires respect, admiration, and genuine connection without trying. Number 3, speak less, listen more. If there's one thing that instantly elevates the way people perceive you, it's the art of speaking less and listening more. You might think that charm comes from clever words or constant banter, but the truth is far more subtle. True magnetism is rooted in presence, in the way you make others feel heard and understood. Think about it. When you stop trying to fill every silence, when you resist the urge to respond immediately, you create space. Space for thought, for depth, for connection. Seneca once said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." That's not just philosophy, it's a guide for transforming your interactions. You want people to feel that their words matter, and that begins with you giving them genuine attention. Listening isn't passive. It's an active, deliberate choice to absorb, reflect, and respond with intention. When you practice it, you start noticing nuances in tone, subtleties in expression, and layers of meaning that most people miss. You catch the unspoken thoughts, the emotions behind the words, the little hints that reveal what someone truly values or fears. This gives you an almost intuitive understanding of others, and in turn, that awareness makes your own words more powerful. Because when you finally do speak, it's not noise, it's precision, insight, and resonance. People are drawn to that. They feel understood without even realizing why. Start with small exercises. In every conversation, aim to speak 30% less than you normally would. When someone is sharing, resist the urge to interrupt, to correct, to offer your own story immediately. Instead, pause, let the words settle, and then respond thoughtfully. Practice asking open-ended questions that invite others to elaborate, and then let them. The longer you can maintain that balance between speaking and listening, the more naturally confident and composed you appear. You're no longer chasing attention, you're commanding it effortlessly. Another secret is cultivating internal calm. When you aren't constantly thinking about what to say next or how to impress, you're fully present. This presence is magnetic. People instinctively gravitate towards someone who isn't desperate to fill the air with words, someone who can sit in quiet without awkwardness, someone whose energy is steady and composed. Reminds us, be like the cliff against which the waves continually break, but it stands firm and tames the fury of the water around it. In conversation, be that cliff. Let the rush of chatter crash around you, but maintain your poise. Speak with intention, not compulsion. This practice transforms more than just social interactions. It reshapes your mindset. You become more observant, more patient, more deliberate in your communication, and more attuned to subtleties that others overlook. You stop reacting impulsively, stop filling silence with filler, stop letting your ego dominate the conversation. Instead, you engage with curiosity, with empathy, and with quiet confidence. Over time, this becomes second nature. Your presence alone communicates intelligence, composure, and restraint, all qualities that people find irresistibly attractive. So start today. Listen more than you speak. Notice the power of silence. Observe the energy you create when you truly hear someone. Let your words carry weight, not volume. Every pause is an opportunity, every quiet moment a chance to connect on a deeper level. In mastering the balance between speaking and listening, you're not just becoming more attractive, you're becoming someone worth listening to, someone who draws people in without effort, and someone whose presence leaves a lasting impression long after the conversation ends. Number 4, practice self-discipline consistently. Self-discipline is the hidden force that quietly makes you magnetic, though most people overlook it. It's not about rigid schedules or punishing yourself. It's about the consistent choice to act in alignment with your values, even when no one is watching. Every time you honor your commitments, resist the easy temptation, or push past comfort to do what's right, you reinforce a core truth. You control yourself, and that is endlessly attractive. Said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Self-discipline is proof of that power. When you cultivate it, you radiate confidence without needing to say a word. People are drawn to those who can navigate their own impulses, who demonstrate mastery over desires rather than being enslaved by them. To practice self-discipline consistently, start by identifying small, repeatable actions that reflect your values. It could be waking up at the same time every day, exercising, meditating, or committing to finishing what you start. These are not grand gestures. They are daily affirmations of who you are and who you aim to become. Think of each choice as a statement. You are not controlled by fleeting urges or external chaos. Instead, you respond with intention. The beauty of this is cumulative. Each act of discipline strengthens your ability to face bigger challenges without flinching. Over time, it becomes effortless because your habits begin to shape your identity, and your identity shapes the energy you project to the world. It's important to recognize that self-discipline isn't about perfection or punishing yourself for mistakes. Epictetus reminds us, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Freedom comes from practice, from repetition, from returning to the path when you stumble. When you miss a morning workout or indulge in an unnecessary distraction, acknowledge it, learn, and refocus. The consistent act of coming back to discipline, even imperfectly, strengthens your character and adds a quiet magnetism to your presence. People sense when someone has control over their own life. It's appealing because it signals stability, confidence, and inner strength. Make it practical. Choose one area of your life where you will enforce discipline every day for a month. Track it. Notice how your thoughts shift when you honor your commitment versus when you let yourself slide. You'll discover a growing resilience and calmness that permeates every interaction. This is attractiveness on a deeper level. It's not superficial charm. It's the subtle aura of someone who has chosen themselves first, who moves with purpose, and who commands respect without needing to demand it. Self-discipline also enhances emotional intelligence. When you resist impulsive reactions, you gain clarity in communication, patience in conflict, and a grounded presence in social settings. You begin to respond instead of react, to observe instead of overreact, to lead by example rather than by demand. The world unconsciously notices this. People are drawn to those who are stable, consistent, and self-possessed because it creates a sense of security and admiration. The real key is repetition. Daily practice, small victories, and continual recommitment build momentum that compounds in ways that are almost invisible but profoundly powerful. Every moment you choose to act intentionally, you reinforce that you are someone of value, someone others can look to, someone whose energy and presence are magnetic. Self-discipline is not a chore, it's a declaration. It says, "I am in charge of my life, I honor my potential, and I act with purpose." When you embrace this, attractiveness ceases to be about looks, charm, or words. It becomes the natural consequence of a life led with integrity and relentless self-mastery. Number 5, value virtue over external validation. Imagine waking up every day with the quiet confidence that your worth doesn't depend on likes, compliments, or the fleeting approval of others. That's the power of valuing virtue over external validation. In a world that constantly pushes you to seek attention, comparison, and applause, Stoicism reminds you that true attraction, the kind that resonates deeply and lasts, is rooted in character, not in the opinions swirling around you. Wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." Every choice you make, every word you speak, and every action you take becomes a reflection of your inner integrity. You are no longer chasing validation because you are cultivating something far more magnetic, a life aligned with virtue. When you value virtue, you stop molding yourself to fit the expectations of others. You stop changing your behavior to impress, to gain favor, or to be liked. Instead, you focus on being honest, courageous, disciplined, and wise. This shift in mindset transforms how others perceive you, not because you are trying to be appealing, but because your authenticity shines through. People are drawn to those who live with integrity, who act with consistency and purpose, who do not bend to every wave of opinion. Your energy becomes magnetic because it signals strength and self-respect. You are no longer fragile, swayed by praise or criticism, because your foundation is internal, unshakable. You can start building this daily. Begin by noticing where your actions are driven by a desire for approval. Ask yourself, am I doing this because it aligns with who I am, or because I want someone else to like me? Make it a habit to pause before speaking or acting. Reflect on your principles and let them guide you. Over time, this practice rewires your mind. You'll find yourself making decisions that feel right, even if they aren't popular, because you've trained yourself to prioritize character over comfort. Seneca reminds us, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, who is poor." Seeking external validation is a form of craving. Valuing virtue is a form of wealth. The beauty of this rule is that it liberates you. When your focus shifts inward, the judgments, opinions, and superficial standards of others lose their power over you. You stop overthinking how you're perceived, and you start showing up fully, honestly, and unapologetically. That presence, rooted in integrity, is magnetic. It draws respect, admiration, and genuine connection naturally, because it communicates that you are anchored in something real. People sense it, even if they can't articulate why. You can strengthen this habit with small exercises. At the end of each day, reflect on moments when you acted from virtue rather than from the desire to be liked. Celebrate those wins. Identify where you gave in to external pressures and imagine how you could act differently tomorrow. Journaling these reflections makes your growth tangible. Over weeks, you'll notice a profound change. Your confidence deepens, your relationships improve, and the world responds to the authenticity you project. Remember, attraction that lasts doesn't come from a perfect image, flashy words, or borrowed charm. It comes from a person who stands firm in their principles. Value virtue above all else, and everything else, attention, admiration, even influence, will follow naturally like a shadow to the light you carry within. This is the quiet power of living stoically, a magnetic life grounded in integrity, authenticity, and unwavering self-respect. Begin today. Choose virtue. Let your character speak louder than approval ever could. Number 6, embrace challenges as opportunities for growth. Think about the way most people approach life. They see challenges as roadblocks, as threats, as annoyances to avoid. But what if you flipped that perspective entirely? What if you looked at every obstacle not as something to fear or evade, but as a chance to grow stronger, wiser, and more resilient? This is the essence of Stoic thinking. Reminds us, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Every difficulty, every discomfort, every unexpected twist is not a punishment. It's an invitation. An invitation to push yourself beyond the boundaries of comfort, to discover what you are truly capable of. You can either shrink away, letting life dictate your energy and your mood, or you can step forward and embrace the challenge, knowing that growth is on the other side. When you choose to embrace challenges, you start to see life differently. Setbacks become feedback, discomfort becomes training, and resistance becomes a teacher. Imagine waking up each day not dreading the hard moments, but anticipating them, knowing they are opportunities to forge your character. It's easy to remain passive when everything is smooth, but smooth seas don't make skilled sailors. The people who radiate confidence, composure, and magnetism are those who have repeatedly faced life's trials and learned to navigate them with poise. They don't just survive adversity, they leverage it. And the more you practice this mindset, the more naturally it will become part of you, influencing how you carry yourself, how you speak, and how you interact with the world. Start small right now. When something uncomfortable arises, whether it's a tough task, a difficult conversation, or a moment of personal doubt, pause and ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can this make me stronger? Then act. Lean into the discomfort instead of recoiling. The Stoics teach that we are not disturbed by events themselves, but by our judgments about them. So, when you choose to see challenges as fuel for growth, you reclaim control over your mind and your energy. You transform situations that would crush others into stepping stones that elevate you. Another practical exercise is reflection. Each evening, think back on the day's challenges and ask yourself, where did I resist growth and where did I embrace it? Journaling these reflections can make the lessons tangible, allowing you to internalize them deeply. Over time, your mind begins to automatically seek the lessons in adversity, rewiring you to see life's hurdles as allies rather than enemies. This mindset not only strengthens your character, but also makes you inherently more attractive. People are drawn to those who remain calm under pressure, who handle difficulties with grace, and who see the world with clarity and purpose. Strength forged in the crucible of challenge is magnetic because it signals competence, confidence, and resilience, all qualities that resonate deeply with others. Remember, growth is never comfortable, and the path of least resistance leads only to stagnation. By choosing to embrace challenges, you step onto the path of constant improvement, building inner strength that shows in everything you do. You begin to exude calm confidence, not arrogance, quiet power, not force, and an undeniable allure born from mastery over self, not circumstances. The next time life throws something difficult your way, don't shrink. Lean in. See the opportunity. Take control. Let every challenge be a forge that tempers your mind, your spirit, and your presence. Do this consistently, and you will not only grow stronger, you will become someone others naturally gravitate toward, drawn to the energy of someone who thrives, no matter what comes their way. Number 7, maintain integrity in every action. You want to be the kind of person others respect, the kind of person whose presence commands attention without demanding it. The foundation of that kind of magnetism is integrity. It's not about charm, flashy words, or impressing people. It's about consistently aligning your actions with your values. When you maintain integrity in every action, you cultivate a quiet, undeniable attractiveness that goes far beyond superficial appearances. Seneca once said, "Let us be grateful to people who make us happy. They are the charming gardeners who make our souls blossom." But the deeper lesson here is that true attraction doesn't come from pleasing others. It comes from being solid, dependable, and true to yourself. People notice that. They feel it, and it draws them in. Every choice you make, no matter how small, reflects who you are. Do you keep promises even when it's inconvenient? Do you act with honesty even when deceit would be easier? Do you carry yourself with dignity, regardless of who's watching? These moments define your character. Every interaction is an opportunity to demonstrate integrity. This doesn't mean perfection, and it doesn't mean you never slip. What matters is that your actions are rooted in your principles, not in external approval. Your word becomes a bond. Your behavior becomes consistent. And when people experience that reliability and authenticity, it's magnetic. You project confidence not because you demand it, but because your life is coherent, unshakable, and real. Practicing this daily requires attention and effort. Start with small exercises. Before speaking, ask yourself, does this reflect the values I want to embody? Before acting, question, am I being true to myself or am I bending to convenience or fear? When you face difficult situations, let integrity guide your choices, not impulse. Over time, this habit becomes second nature. You'll notice your decisions are clearer, your interactions smoother, your presence calmer and more grounded. Reminds us, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Don't debate it, don't rationalize deviations, simply embody it. This is the kind of inner consistency that resonates outward. Integrity also gives you freedom. When your actions align with your values, you no longer live under the weight of pretense or fear of exposure. You don't have to maintain calculate impressions or manipulate perception. That authenticity is incredibly attractive. It signals strength without arrogance, confidence without aggression, and respect without expectation. People are drawn to authenticity because it's rare and it feels safe. You are a person who can be trusted, a person whose actions match their words, a person whose presence brings calm and certainty in a world full of uncertainty and inconsistency. This is not an abstract exercise, it is practice. Every day, in every decision, maintain your integrity. Speak truthfully, act consistently, honor commitments, and resist the urge to compromise for convenience or approval. Even in minor interactions, returning an extra cent of change, acknowledging someone honestly, following through when no one is watching, you are building a reputation of reliability and authenticity. Over time, these small choices compound into an aura of strength and attractiveness that no superficial charm can replicate. The Stoics teach that inner character is the only true source of lasting appeal. When you embrace integrity in every action, you cultivate not just respect or admiration, but genuine magnetic presence that pulls people toward you naturally, effortlessly, and authentically. So there you have it, 7 Stoic rules that don't just make you more attractive on the outside, but shape the kind of inner strength and calm that naturally draws people to you. Remember, true attractiveness isn't about flashy gestures or trying too hard. It's about mastering yourself, embracing discipline, and letting your character speak louder than your words. If you start applying even one of these principles today, you'll notice subtle shifts in how people respond to you, how you carry yourself, and most importantly, how confident and grounded you feel. So take action, practice daily, and watch as your presence begins to leave a mark wherever you go. If you found value in this, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because there's so much more wisdom coming your way. Stay disciplined, stay stoic, and most importantly, stay unstoppable. He who engages you conquers you. Elizabeth Kenny, inspired by Stoic principles. What if I told you that every time someone's words, actions, or even a sudden change in circumstances rattles you, you're handing them the keys to your mind and your life? Imagine navigating your day without letting rude colleagues, traffic jams, or social media drama dictate your mood. Sounds powerful, right? That's exactly what Stoicism teaches. The art of controlling your emotions so no one else can control you. In today's video, we'll uncover practical, life-changing Stoic strategies that help you stay calm when chaos surrounds you. Whether it's a heated argument, a stressful workplace, or personal setbacks, mastering these techniques will give you clarity, resilience, and peace of mind. But here's the catch. The real transformation only happens if you watch till the very end. Each tip builds on the last, creating a mindset so unshakable that external chaos will barely make a ripple in your inner calm. So if you're ready to reclaim your mental freedom, stay with me and let's dive deep into the Stoic secrets of emotional mastery. By the time this video ends, you won't just think differently. You'll react differently, live differently, and finally, remain in control, always. Number 1, recognize what's within your control and what is. One of the most powerful skills you can cultivate in life is the ability to recognize what's truly within your control, and just as importantly, what isn't. Stoicism teaches us that so much of our suffering comes not from external events themselves, but from the way we allow ourselves to be swept up in them. Said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Let that sink in for a moment. Every argument you get caught in, every frustrating encounter, every moment where your heart races with anger or anxiety, it's not the outside world that's enslaving you. It's your reaction to it. Once you understand this distinction, you start to reclaim your freedom. So how do you train yourself to see clearly what you can influence and what you can't? Start small. Pause before you react. When something triggers a strong emotion in you, take a deep breath and ask yourself, is this something I can actually change? Is this under my control? If the answer is yes, then channel your energy there, plan, act, adjust. If it isn't, let it go. This isn't resignation, it's power. By refusing to waste your energy on what's outside your control, you're not giving up. You're choosing to act where it matters most, to grow where growth is possible, and to stay serene where turbulence is inevitable. Try a simple exercise. Every morning, write down 3 things that are outside your control that you might face that day. They could be the weather, other people's moods, traffic, news headlines, anything that could rattle you but is beyond your influence. Then for each, write how you can respond rather than react. Maybe it's choosing calm over frustration, patience over impatience, understanding over resentment. Seeing it on paper gives your mind a map. It's like clearing the fog so you can walk confidently instead of stumbling blindly. Another key is reminding yourself constantly that the world doesn't owe you comfort, understanding, or agreement. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." When you internalize this, the power shifts. You stop being a puppet on strings pulled by circumstance or other people. You stop giving your control away with every angry thought or panicked response. You become the calm center in the eye of every storm, because your peace isn't dependent on them. It depends on you. Make it a habit to check in with yourself throughout the day. When a wave of irritation rises, ask, is this mine to fix? When jealousy or envy creeps in, ask, can I change this person or can I only change how I feel about it? Challenge yourself to act only where action is meaningful and release everything else like a leaf floating down a river. Over time, this isn't just a mental trick. It becomes a way of life, a muscle you flex automatically. You start to notice the freedom you gain with each refusal to be hijacked by circumstances, and it feels addictive in the best way. And here's the most important part. Don't just read or think about it. Practice it. Stop arguing with what's beyond your control. Stop blaming. Stop worrying about outcomes that aren't yours to command. Step into your own mind as the leader it was meant to be. Write it down, say it aloud, breathe it in, live it in small moments. The Stoics weren't masters of life because they read about serenity. They became masters because they acted on it, every day, in every moment, in ways both quiet and deliberate. You can do the same. Number 2, pause before reacting to triggers. When someone pushes your buttons, it's almost instinctive to react immediately, isn't it? Your mind sparks, your heart races, and before you even realize it, words or actions slip out that you later regret. The Stoics knew this all too well. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." That tiny pause between stimulus and response, that space where you choose your reaction, is your superpower. And the beautiful thing is, it's entirely within your control. You can train yourself to master it. Imagine this. The next time someone says something that normally triggers anger, irritation, or hurt, you don't jump. You take a breath. A long, deliberate breath. Feel it fill your lungs. Let it settle your mind. In that brief moment, you've already taken back control. You've pulled yourself out of the reflexive loop that so often dominates your life. That pause, as small as it seems, is the difference between being reactive and being powerful. The Stoics called this assent, the conscious choice to accept or reject the impressions that hit your mind. And here's the truth. Most people live their lives giving assent automatically, letting emotions dictate their behavior. You don't have to. You can be different. Start practicing this consciously. Every day, put yourself in situations, real or imagined, where you feel triggered. Pause, breathe. Label your emotion: anger, frustration, jealousy, disappointment. Just numbing it weakens its grip. Then ask yourself, does acting on this serve me, or does it serve someone else's narrative about me? That single question rewires your response system. Over time, the reflex to explode, lash out, or stew silently diminishes. Instead, you become deliberate, measured, and yes, far more respected by others, because nothing shakes you unless you let it. It's not about suppressing your feelings, it's about acknowledging them without surrendering to them. Said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. That power begins in the space between stimulus and response. The more you practice pausing, the more you expand that space. It's like building a muscle. At first, it feels awkward, even frustrating. But each time you choose to pause instead of reacting, you're reinforcing the habit, cementing control into your very being. Here's a practical exercise to embed this deeply into your daily life. Set up mini reminders throughout your day to pause. It could be a subtle mental cue, your heartbeat, the feeling of your feet on the ground, or even silently saying, pause. When someone irritates you, instead of responding immediately, count slowly to 5. Yes, just 5 seconds. Then let your next action flow from reason, not reflex. Combine it with journaling. After moments when you successfully paused, write down what you felt, how you acted, and what shifted in the interaction. Reflection magnifies the effect of action. Eventually, you'll notice something extraordinary. You start to walk through life with a sense of calm and unshakable presence. You begin to see triggers for what they are, temporary sparks that only control you if you allow them to. Your emotions become allies, not enemies. You no longer hand over your power to others because you've claimed it for yourself. The world may try to provoke you, but you've already decided internally that your response is yours alone. That's the essence of Stoic mastery, and it's available to you right now. No waiting, no excuses, just the decision to pause before every reaction, every time. So take that breath, make that pause, own your moment, every single time. You'll be amazed at how much power quietly sits in that space, waiting for you to claim it. Number 3, reframe negative situations with rational thinking. You know, the way life hits you sometimes feels completely unfair. A setback, a harsh word, a situation spiraling out of your control. It's easy to let all of that settle in and take root as frustration, anxiety, or anger. But here's the truth. Your emotions don't have to dictate your reality. You have the power to take control. One of the most profound tools in Stoicism is the ability to reframe negative situations with rational thinking. Once said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Think about that. The chaos around you doesn't have to seep inside. You get to choose how you interpret it. Reframing starts with a pause. When something feels like it's unraveling you, don't react immediately. Take a breath. Give yourself even 5 seconds to step back mentally. Ask yourself, is this event truly catastrophic, or am I assigning it more weight than it deserves? This simple mental check creates space between impulse and action, giving you the chance to respond rather than react. You're training yourself to be the observer, not the victim. Next, begin challenging the stories your mind tells you. You know that voice that whispers, "This is unbearable, I can't handle it." Question it. Ask, is this absolutely true? Can I see this differently? Epictetus reminds us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. You need to take that to heart. When you catch yourself spiraling, practice reframing by turning the focus inward. What can you learn? How can this make you stronger? What's the lesson hidden beneath the discomfort? It doesn't mean pretending everything is fine. It means choosing not to give negative events the power to control your mind. Here's a practical exercise to anchor this habit. When a negative thought arises, write it down. Then, under it, write one rational alternative interpretation. Maybe that criticism you received isn't a personal attack. Maybe it's an opportunity to improve. Maybe that setback isn't failure. Maybe it's feedback guiding you toward a better path. The act of putting it on paper forces your brain to see multiple perspectives. Over time, this trains your mind to automatically search for rational frames instead of being hijacked by emotion. Another way to strengthen this habit is visualization. Close your eyes and picture a situation that normally triggers stress or anger. Now, visualize yourself responding calmly, with rationality guiding your thoughts instead of emotion. Feel the difference. Notice the power in your composure. This mental rehearsal rewires your mind to react with intention rather than instinct. Every time you practice, you're building a mental muscle that makes you unshakable. Finally, make it a daily ritual to review your reactions. At the end of each day, reflect on moments when you felt triggered. Did you let your emotions control you, or did you catch yourself and reframe? Think about how you could respond differently next time. Journaling or even quiet self-reflection solidifies the habit. As Seneca wisely said, "We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more from imagination than from reality." The pain of negative situations often comes from the way we interpret them. Change your lens, and the pain shifts. Reframing isn't a one-time trick, it's a lifelong practice. But every time you consciously choose rational thinking over automatic emotional reaction, you're reclaiming control over your mind. You're no longer at the mercy of circumstance, opinion, or chaos. You're free, you're powerful, and that freedom, that's exactly what allows no one else to control you. Number 4, practice daily mindfulness and self-reflection. You have more control over your emotions than you realize. The moment you begin to notice your thoughts, your reactions, the subtle twitch of irritation or the swell of excitement, you start taking the first step toward freedom. Daily mindfulness and self-reflection are not just trendy phrases. They are the lifelines that keep you anchored when the storms of life rage around you. Once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." Those words aren't just inspiring, they're a roadmap. Every time you pause to observe yourself, you're claiming that power. You're telling the world, silently but unmistakably, that no one can control you if you don't allow them to. Start small. Take a few minutes each morning to sit quietly. Feel your breath moving in and out. Notice the tension in your shoulders, the flutter of your heartbeat, the subtle whispers of your mind. Don't judge these thoughts or sensations. Let them exist and acknowledge them. Then ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? Why does this affect me? What part of this reaction is within my control and what part is not? The Stoics were masters at this. They reflected daily, dissecting their emotions like surgeons, and in doing so, they found clarity. As you move through your day, carry this mindfulness like a hidden shield. When someone pushes your buttons, when a situation provokes anger, frustration, or fear, pause. Just pause. Feel the surge of emotion, name it silently, and ask, is this thought helping me, or is it steering me away from who I want to be? Epictetus reminds us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. That power to react differently, to break free from automatic responses, comes from the practice you build daily. The more you pause, the more you notice, the more you reflect, the stronger this control becomes. Reflection doesn't need to be long or complicated. At the end of the day, take a few minutes to journal, not as an assignment, not as a performance, but as a conversation with yourself. Ask, where did I give my power away today? When did I let emotion dictate my actions? What small step could I take tomorrow to respond instead of react? Let your answers sit with you and don't rush them. Let them simmer and watch how your awareness grows. Stoicism isn't about suppressing feelings. It's about understanding them so they no longer have the unearned authority to rule you. The beauty of daily mindfulness is that it compounds over time. One morning of reflection won't change everything, and one pause in the heat of anger won't make you perfect, but each moment adds a layer of self-mastery. You begin to notice patterns in your mind, triggers that once controlled you, and little by little, you gain the quiet, unshakable control that the Stoics championed. You'll start to see your emotions as tools, not tyrants. You'll realize that the freedom you've been seeking doesn't live in circumstances, but inside you, in the space between stimulus and response that only mindfulness can reveal. So commit, carve out time, sit, breathe, observe, question, reflect, make it a habit and watch how your world shifts, not because the world changes, but because you do. As Seneca said, if you wish to be loved, love. If you wish to be free, start by loving and mastering the mind that holds your power. No one else can take it from you unless you hand it over, take it back. Today now, with every breath, practice awareness and step closer to a life where no one controls your peace, your actions, or your soul. Number 5, build emotional resilience through voluntary discomfort. You know, the most powerful thing you can do to make sure no one ever controls your emotions is to first take control of them yourself. And one of the most effective ways to do that, something the Stoics have been teaching for centuries, is through voluntary discomfort. Now, before your mind jumps to visions of punishment or unnecessary suffering, hear me out. This isn't about torturing yourself. It's about intentionally stepping into small, controlled challenges that stretch your limits. Once said, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. When you practice facing discomfort willingly, you start to see obstacles for what they are, opportunities to strengthen your inner fortress. You might wonder, why would anyone choose discomfort? The answer is simple. Because when you expose yourself to controlled adversity, you teach yourself that life's hardships, those unavoidable, unexpected blows, aren't terrifying. They're manageable. They don't have the power to break you unless you allow them. By voluntarily embracing small hardships, maybe a cold shower in the morning, skipping a comforting meal, or resisting the urge to check your phone constantly, you begin to rewire your mind. You learn that pleasure isn't the default, and discomfort isn't the enemy. In fact, discomfort becomes a tool. It sharpens your resilience, hones your focus, and makes emotional turbulence less intimidating. Imagine this. Each time you willingly step into a minor challenge, your mind records it like a victory. You're quietly telling yourself, I can handle this. I can endure more than I thought. Epictetus famously reminded us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. This is exactly why voluntary discomfort works. You're rehearsing for life's real storms without being in the storm itself. You're building mental calluses that protect your peace of mind when chaos comes knocking. Now let's make this practical. Start small. You don't need to overhaul your entire life overnight. Begin with something simple that nudges your comfort zone. Maybe it's holding yourself accountable to wake up an hour earlier, resisting the urge to scroll endlessly on your phone, or going a day without your favorite indulgence. Feel the initial unease, recognize it, and then keep moving. The discomfort is your gym. Your mind and spirit are the muscles getting stronger. Push a little further each time. Gradually, you'll notice a shift. Situations that used to rattle you barely register anymore. You're calmer, steadier, more present. And here's the secret. The beauty of voluntary discomfort is that it's liberating. When you willingly experience hardship, you strip away the fear of it. You stop being a prisoner to your cravings, to other people's opinions, or to the unexpected twists life throws at you. You're training yourself to respond with calm and clarity, rather than with instinctive fear or frustration. You're practicing mastery over your own mind. Try a small exercise right now. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and think of one little discomfort you can face today, something that stretches you. Commit to it fully, no excuses. Feel the resistance, acknowledge it, and move forward anyway. This is the Stoic path. As Seneca said, difficulty strengthens the mind as labor does the body. Every voluntary challenge you take on, no matter how small, adds a layer of resilience. Eventually, you'll face real adversity and find it far less frightening. You'll be unshakable, not because life has become easier, but because you have become stronger. You have the power to train your emotions just like a muscle. Voluntary discomfort is the most effective, direct way to do it. Start today, keep going, and watch yourself become the person who no one and nothing can control. So there you have it, the timeless wisdom of Stoicism to take control of your emotions and, ultimately, your life. Remember, emotions are not your enemy, they're signals, but how you respond to them determines your freedom. Start small, practice daily, and watch as you reclaim control over your reactions, instead of letting the world dictate how you feel. If this video gave you even a single insight that can transform your mindset, don't stop here. Like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you never miss another guide to mastering your mind. And comment below, what's the first emotion you're going to take charge of today? I want to hear your victories. Stay calm, stay focused, and remember, no one can control you unless you let them. Until next time, keep practicing Stoicism in every moment. Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. Epictetus. What if I told you that mastering your discipline could be the key to unlocking a life of freedom, success, and happiness? We often struggle with staying on track, fighting distractions, and battling procrastination. But what if the solution wasn't just about working harder or trying to force productivity? What if you could hack your discipline using a powerful, yet simple, mindset shift rooted in Stoic philosophy? In this video, we'll explore how you can use Stoic principles to sharpen your discipline and transform your life. From setting clear boundaries to controlling your impulses, Stoicism offers a roadmap for turning your daily habits into powerful tools for success. We'll discuss how to cultivate mental resilience, focus on what's truly in your control, and reframe setbacks as opportunities to grow. But here's the catch. To fully harness these strategies and experience the real impact on your life, you need to stay with us until the very end. Every step builds on the last, creating a powerful discipline formula you won't want to miss. Let's take control, elevate our lives, and master the art of discipline together. Number 1, prioritize long-term goals over short-term pleasures. Let's talk about one of the most powerful ways you can transform your life, shifting your focus from the quick bursts of pleasure to the long-term, rewarding goals you know will bring you true fulfillment. This might sound simple, but it's not always easy. In fact, it's one of the biggest challenges most people face in their journey toward self-discipline and a high-quality life. But once you understand this principle and truly commit to it, everything changes. Think about it. How often do you get distracted by something that feels good right now but leaves you empty later? Maybe it's checking your phone, binge-watching your favorite show, or giving in to a fleeting craving. These small, immediate pleasures seem harmless, but they can derail your focus and waste precious time. This is where Stoicism comes into play. The Stoics understood that true freedom comes from our ability to control our impulses. As Epictetus once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." If you let short-term pleasures control your behavior, you're giving up your freedom to shape your own destiny. Instead of focusing on fleeting moments of satisfaction, the Stoics would urge you to focus on what truly matters: your long-term goals, your growth, your purpose. The key here is discipline. It's about making the tough choice now for the benefit of your future self. That might mean saying no to instant gratification today so you can say yes to a more fulfilling tomorrow. You don't have to let the momentary pull of pleasure take you off course. In fact, you can use that very desire as a cue to remind yourself of what you're working toward. Ask yourself, will this fleeting pleasure get me closer to my ultimate goals, or will it just delay my progress? One of the first steps you can take is to visualize your future success. Picture where you want to be in the next year, 5 years, or even a decade. Visualizing success is powerful because it connects you to that feeling of achievement before you even get there. It makes your long-term goal feel more real, more tangible. When you can clearly see your future self living the life you've dreamed of, the temptations of short-term pleasure don't seem as appealing. But here's the trick. Discipline is not about deprivation. It's not about punishing yourself for enjoying life's little pleasures. It's about balance. It's about making intentional decisions and being mindful of the trade-offs you're making. The Stoic mindset isn't about ignoring pleasure entirely, but rather placing it in the right context. As Marcus Aurelius wisely put it, don't hanker after what you don't have. Be content with what you have. To truly embody this, you have to ask yourself questions. Every time you feel the urge for something immediate, ask, does this bring me closer to the person I want to become? Is this the best use of my energy right now? Remember, discipline doesn't mean being rigid. It means having the awareness and the strength to choose what's best for you in the long run. So what can you do to make this a habit? Here's a practical exercise. Every morning, write down your most important long-term goals. Keep them front and center in your mind. Then, at the end of the day, reflect on how well you managed to prioritize them. Did you make choices that aligned with those goals? Or did you let short-term pleasures pull you away? If you slipped up, don't be hard on yourself. Acknowledge it, learn from it, and try again the next day. And here's another tip. Create daily or weekly momentum habits. These are small, manageable actions that propel you forward toward your bigger goals. They don't require huge amounts of willpower, but over time, they compound into massive progress. For instance, if you're working on a big project, set aside a specific time each day to work on it, even if it's just for 20 minutes. These little victories will start to build momentum, and before you know it, your long-term goals will feel much closer and more achievable. Discipline isn't about perfection. It's about progress. It's about staying focused on your ultimate vision, even when the temptation of short-term pleasure comes knocking. Keep reminding yourself, the pain of discipline is nothing compared to the pain of regret. Push yourself now, and you'll find yourself living a life far richer and more fulfilling than anything those temporary pleasures could ever offer. Remember, you are in control. Your future is shaped by the decisions you make today. So choose wisely, choose with purpose, and let your long-term vision guide you through the daily distractions. You've got this. Number 2, cultivate daily habits of self-control. If you want to truly change your life, if you want to be the best version of yourself, it starts with one thing: self-control. It's not just about having the willpower to say no to distractions or temptations. It's about building a daily routine of self-discipline that becomes second nature. This is where Stoicism can play a powerful role. The Stoics were masters of self-control, and they understood that it's not one big act of willpower that makes a difference, but a steady stream of small, daily actions that build up over time. You see, self-control is a skill just like any other. It's something that gets stronger the more you practice it. The key is consistency. The Stoic philosopher Seneca once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." That means true freedom comes from being able to control your actions, your emotions, and your thoughts, regardless of what's happening around you. It's about making intentional choices that align with your higher purpose, instead of reacting impulsively to the moment. But how do you do that? How do you start building these habits of self-control day by day without burning out or feeling overwhelmed? First, it begins with awareness. The more you pay attention to your habits, the more you can spot the moments when you slip. And let's be real, you will slip. It's part of the process, but it's not about perfection. It's about noticing, correcting, and moving forward. When you start your day, ask yourself, what do I want to achieve today? What habits will move me closer to my goals? This small exercise sets the tone for the rest of your day. It helps you to approach everything with intention, not just reacting to whatever comes your way. Then think about the small actions that contribute to the bigger picture. Building self-control doesn't require huge, monumental changes. It's the tiny decisions you make throughout the day that add up. The Stoics believed in the power of incremental progress. The greater the difficulty, the more glory in surmounting it. Skill is lost in the midst of the battle, said Seneca. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, you are winning, no matter how small the action may seem. Now here's the trick. The more you commit to these small actions, the more automatic they become. You don't need to force yourself to make disciplined choices all the time if you've already set up your day to encourage them. This is where habits come in. Your habits are the foundation of your self-control, and building them is simpler than you think. Start by picking just 1 or 2 habits you want to develop. Maybe it's waking up earlier, reading a few pages of a book each morning, or practicing mindfulness for 5 minutes. It doesn't have to be complicated. In fact, the simpler the better. What's important is consistency. Every day, take that small action and build on it. Over time, you'll find that self-control isn't something you have to fight for. It becomes part of your routine. But there's another important layer to this. Self-control isn't just about denying yourself what you want. It's about consciously choosing what aligns with your higher purpose, with your long-term goals. Remember, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength, as Marcus Aurelius put it. When you know what you want and understand why it matters, saying no to distractions becomes easier. Let's talk about practical exercises that can help you on this journey. Morning reflection. Every morning before you start your day, take a few minutes to think about your goals and how you'll approach your day. Ask yourself, what's the one thing I can do today that will bring me closer to my larger goals? This isn't just about planning, it's about making a conscious decision to stay on track. The 10-minute rule. If you're faced with a temptation or distraction, give yourself just 10 minutes to pause and think. Take a deep breath. Reflect on how this moment aligns with your long-term goals. By pausing, you give yourself space to make a decision instead of just reacting. Daily accountability. At the end of the day, reflect on your choices. Did you stick to your self-control practices? Where did you slip up? This isn't about judging yourself. It's about noticing patterns and improving. Ask yourself, what can I do tomorrow to improve even just a little bit? Mindful moments. Throughout your day, take small moments to check in with yourself. Whether you're eating, working, or just relaxing, pause and ask, am I in control of this moment? This brings awareness to your actions and strengthens your ability to choose wisely. Remember, self-control isn't a talent you either have or don't have. It's a muscle you build through consistent practice. With each small decision, each moment of discipline, you're moving closer to the person you want to be. So embrace the challenge, take action, build the habits that will transform your life. It's not easy, but nothing worthwhile ever is. The more you practice, the stronger you become. And before you know it, you'll find that self-control is no longer something you strive for, it's who you are. Number 3, embrace discomfort as a path to growth. If you're serious about improving your discipline and transforming your life, here's one truth you must accept. Growth lies in discomfort. Yes, you read that right. The path to becoming your best self is paved with moments that challenge you, that push you beyond what feels easy and familiar. And guess what? That's exactly where the magic happens. The Stoics knew this well. They didn't shy away from discomfort or hardship, they embraced it. They understood that it's through facing discomfort head-on that we build resilience, strength, and true character. As the philosopher Epictetus wisely said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." In other words, it's not the discomfort itself that defines you, but your response to it. Are you going to avoid it, or will you lean into it and let it shape you into a better version of yourself? Let's break it down. Discomfort is a sign that you're growing. Whether it's the physical strain of working out, the mental stretch of learning something new, or the emotional challenge of stepping outside your comfort zone, these moments are the breeding ground for transformation. The pain you feel now is a signal that you're expanding, that you're pushing yourself towards something greater. But here's the thing, growth doesn't happen in comfort. You can't expect to improve if you're always staying in the safe, easy zone. You can't expect to become stronger if you're avoiding the weight that challenges you. The Stoics believed that we should actively seek discomfort, not run from it. Marcus Aurelius put it best when he said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." The very things that seem to hold you back, the moments that feel uncomfortable, are actually the tools that will shape you into someone more disciplined, more resilient, and more powerful. So what does it look like to embrace discomfort in your own life? It's all about reframing the way you see challenges. Instead of thinking, "I can't handle this," try thinking, "This is exactly what I need to grow." When you feel resistance, when things feel tough, that's your cue to lean in. Don't shy away. Don't avoid. Step forward with confidence, knowing that every challenge is an opportunity to develop a stronger, more disciplined version of yourself. Now, this doesn't mean you should go looking for unnecessary pain. It means choosing the discomfort that aligns with your growth. It's about taking on challenges that will stretch you, even if they're a little intimidating. It's about resisting the urge to take the easy way out when the going gets tough. So, how do you begin? Start by identifying the areas in your life where you're avoiding discomfort. Maybe it's in your physical health, your work, or your personal development. Ask yourself, where am I choosing comfort over progress? Where could I challenge myself more? This is where your self-discipline comes into play. It's not about forcing yourself into every uncomfortable situation. It's about intentionally stepping into the ones that will truly move you forward. Here are some practical exercises to help you embrace discomfort. Practice daily discomfort. Every day, choose one small thing that makes you uncomfortable. Maybe it's taking a cold shower, doing an extra set at the gym, or having an honest conversation you've been avoiding. These small moments of discomfort will build your mental toughness over time. Reframe your thoughts. The next time you're faced with a challenge, pause and reflect before you react. Instead of thinking, "This is hard," or "I don't want to do this," say to yourself, "This is exactly what I need to grow." Reframing discomfort like this will shift your mindset and make you more resilient in the face of adversity. Push beyond the "I can't" moment. We all have moments when we feel like giving up, but it's often in these moments that the most growth occurs. When you hit that "I can't do this" wall, take a deep breath and keep going. Whether it's a workout, a work task, or a difficult conversation, push past the limit you've set in your mind. You'll be amazed at what you can accomplish when you refuse to quit. Reflect on your progress. At the end of each day or week, take a moment to reflect on the discomforts you faced. What did you learn? How did you grow? Celebrate your victories, no matter how small, and remind yourself that every moment of discomfort is a step toward becoming who you want to be. Create a discomfort journal. Keep a journal where you track your moments of discomfort. Write down what you did, how you felt, and what you learned. Over time, you'll see just how much progress you've made by consistently stepping out of your comfort zone. Remember, discomfort isn't the enemy, it's the teacher. The more you learn to embrace it, the more disciplined and resilient you become. Every time you choose discomfort over comfort, you're building the habits and mindset that will carry you toward your biggest goals. Keep pushing, keep growing, and know that you're on the right path. The discomfort you face today is shaping the success you'll see tomorrow. You've got this. Embrace the challenge, grow through it. Number 4, practice self-reflection and accountability. Let's face it, we all have moments when we feel like we're off track, when we wonder if we're really moving toward the person we want to be. Maybe you're putting in the work, but something still feels off. This is where self-reflection and accountability come in. They're like the secret ingredients that help you unlock your full potential and stay on the path to greatness. Self-reflection isn't just about sitting back and thinking about your life every now and then. It's about actively taking a step back and looking at your actions, your thoughts, and your decisions through a clear lens. It's about being honest with yourself, seeing where you're excelling and, more importantly, where you're slipping. The Stoics were huge advocates of this. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic minds, reminded us that the unexamined life is not worth living. If you're not pausing to reflect on how you're living, how can you expect to grow? Think about it this way. If you're always moving forward without checking where you're at, you might end up in a place you never intended to be. Self-reflection is your GPS. It helps you navigate your life and course-correct when necessary. It allows you to take stock of the choices you've made, identify patterns, and take a deeper look at whether your daily actions are aligned with your long-term goals. And here's the thing. The more often you reflect, the more likely you are to stay on track and avoid self-sabotage. So how do you make self-reflection a habit? Start by making it part of your daily routine. At the end of each day, sit down for a few minutes and think about what went well, what didn't, and what you could do differently. You don't need a deep philosophical session, just a moment of honest self-inquiry. Ask yourself, did my actions today align with my goals? What did I do well, and how can I do more of it? Where did I fall short, and what can I learn from that? This simple practice can change the game for you. By checking in with yourself, you're not just cruising through life. You're actively steering your ship. You're acknowledging your wins and being real about your shortcomings. This level of awareness is crucial because without it, you're operating on autopilot, and that's a dangerous way to go about building discipline and achieving your goals. But reflection isn't enough on its own. You need accountability. Self-reflection can highlight areas where you need to improve, but without accountability, it's easy to fall back into old habits or ignore what needs changing. Accountability is about setting clear expectations for yourself and making sure you follow through. It's about being your own coach, your own toughest critic. The Stoics knew the importance of holding oneself accountable. Epictetus, for example, said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." In other words, know who you want to become and then take action. That's where accountability comes in, by ensuring you take that action, day in and day out. Here's a simple but powerful exercise to bring accountability into your daily life. Create a daily checklist. Each day, write down your top priorities, your goals, and the actions you need to take to achieve them. At the end of the day, review that checklist. Did you complete what you said you would? Were there any areas where you dropped the ball? By checking in like this every single day, you hold yourself accountable to your goals, not just in theory but in practice. And it's not just about tracking tasks, it's about tracking your growth. Look back at your self-reflection moments and ask, am I moving forward or am I staying stagnant? If you're not moving forward, get curious about why. What's holding you back? Maybe you need to tweak your strategy, or maybe you're facing resistance you need to push through. Accountability forces you to confront the reality of where you are versus where you want to be, and that's the truth you need to progress. But here's the thing. Self-reflection and accountability aren't about beating yourself up for mistakes. They're about learning. It's okay to slip up. The key is not to let it become a pattern. When you reflect, do it with a mindset of curiosity and growth. As Seneca said, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Most of the time, the things we fear or beat ourselves up over are much bigger in our minds than they are in reality. So embrace mistakes as opportunities to grow, not reasons to quit. To make these practices even more effective, try accountability partnerships. Find someone who shares your goals or values and check in with them regularly. Share your wins, your challenges, and your reflections. Having someone to hold you accountable can make all the difference in staying on track and not letting your excuses win. Remember, discipline isn't built in a day, it's built through consistent self-reflection and daily accountability. You are the one who holds the keys to your success. The Stoics understood this deeply. They didn't wait for someone else to motivate them. They took responsibility for their own growth every single day. And so can you. So here's your challenge: make time for reflection. Hold yourself accountable, track your progress, and keep showing up even on the days when it feels tough. Discipline is a muscle. The more you work it, the stronger it gets. You've got the tools, now it's up to you to use them. Keep moving forward and watch how quickly you transform your life. Number 5, focus on controlling your thoughts and responses. Have you ever felt like your emotions and reactions are completely out of your control? Like something happens, and before you know it, you're swept up in a wave of anger, frustration, or anxiety. It happens to the best of us. But here's the powerful truth. You have more control over your thoughts and responses than you might realize. And the Stoics, they were masters at this. They knew that the quality of your life isn't determined by external circumstances, but by how you respond to them. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic philosophers, put it simply: it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. The key here is that you get to decide how to respond. Your thoughts don't have to control you. You can train your mind to focus on what you can control and to let go of everything else. Think about it. Your thoughts are the foundation of everything you do. If your mind is scattered, negative, or constantly reacting to every little thing that happens, then your life will follow suit. But when you take control of your thoughts, when you decide how to respond instead of being swept away by your emotions, then you become empowered. You stop letting the world dictate your state of mind, and you start directing it yourself. But how do you do this in practice? How do you focus on controlling your thoughts and responses instead of letting them control you? First, it starts with awareness. You can't control your thoughts if you're not even aware of them. Most of us go through life reacting automatically to everything around us, but the first step toward true control is noticing what's going on inside your head. When something triggers you, pause and ask yourself, what am I thinking right now? Are your thoughts negative? Are you assuming the worst? Are you focusing on what you can't change? This awareness is the first step toward taking charge of your reactions. Now, once you've become aware of your thoughts, you need to challenge them. The Stoics were all about questioning their thoughts and beliefs. Is this thought serving me? If your mind is racing with worries or frustrations, ask yourself, is this really true? Is this thought going to help me grow or move forward? Can I control this situation, or is it outside of my power? More often than not, you'll find that the things you're reacting to aren't worth the emotional energy you're giving them. And this is where you get to make the decision to let it go. Remember Marcus Aurelius's wisdom. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. The moment you realize that you have control over your thoughts, you unlock a new level of freedom. You stop letting things outside your control define your emotional state, and instead, you begin taking full ownership of your responses. But let's take it a step further. Not only do you need to control your thoughts, but also your responses to what's happening around you. Life is unpredictable, and things won't always go the way you want. Someone might irritate you, something might not go as planned, or you might face a setback. But the way you respond to those challenges is entirely within your control. This is where your discipline comes into play. Instead of reacting impulsively or letting your emotions drive your actions, you can choose a more measured, thoughtful response. You can choose to stay calm. You can choose to respond with understanding. You can choose to stay focused on your goals and not get sidetracked by momentary setbacks. This takes practice, but the more you do it, the easier it becomes. Here's a simple exercise to help you start controlling your thoughts and responses. Pause and breathe. When you feel a strong emotional reaction coming on, whether it's anger, frustration, anxiety, or something else, take a moment to pause. Breathe deeply. Don't rush into a reaction. In that moment, you're creating space to make a conscious decision about how to respond. Challenge your thoughts. Ask yourself, is this thought helping me? What's the evidence for and against it? How can I reframe this situation in a way that empowers me? The more you practice this, the more you'll find that you can choose your thoughts and reactions rather than being controlled by them. Practice thought stopping. If you catch yourself spiraling into negative thoughts, practice the technique of thought stopping. Visualize a stop sign or mentally say stop to interrupt the cycle. Then, replace the negative thought with something more constructive. This is like training your brain to rewire itself and respond in a healthier way. Reflect daily. At the end of each day, take a few minutes to reflect on your thoughts and reactions. How did you respond to challenges? What did you learn about your thought patterns? The more you reflect, the more you'll begin to notice patterns and areas where you can improve. And remember, it's a journey. You're not going to master controlling your thoughts and responses overnight, but with consistent practice, you'll start noticing changes. You'll feel more in control of your emotions. You'll be less reactive and more proactive. And that, my friend, is how you build true discipline. Every time you take control of your thoughts and responses, you're building the mental strength that will carry you through life's challenges. You're becoming less at the mercy of outside events and more at the helm of your own ship. And that is the path to not just a disciplined life, but a life of freedom. So start today. Start with awareness. Challenge your thoughts and consciously choose your responses. You've got the power, use it. Thank you for watching. Discipline is the foundation of a high-quality life, and Stoicism offers powerful tools to strengthen it. With consistency and focus, you can transform your life from the inside out. If this video helped you, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss out on more Stoic insights. Keep improving, stay disciplined, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay Stoic, stay strong.